Hello, welcome or welcome back. Today I'm talking about something I'm sure a lot of people have heard of by now, Monument Valley. I don't hear enough channels talking about how wonderful this series is, so why not me? But besides that, the series of games was created by Utsuo Games, which is a London-based software development studio founded by Matt Miller and John Sinclair in May 2013. They make games focus on digital design and let the players immerse themselves within their games. Other than creating the Monument Valley series, they have made other games such as Assemble with Care, Alba, a wildlife adventure, and Desta, the Memories Between. But our main focus for this video is the Monument Valley series, which is what I believe they are mostly known for. Monument Valley, the first game, was released April 3rd, 2014. It's an adventure puzzle game where you have to find your way through optical illusions and chapters. It, like I said, has a lot of optical illusions and beautiful layouts and architectures in every chapter, basically like stuff you would see in a fantasy. From the Utsuo Games website, in their words, it says, guide the silent Princess Ida through mysterious monuments, uncovering hidden paths, unfolding optical illusions, and outsmarting the Amjadic Crow people. So I'm going to give the story of the game the way it's put in the wiki, then give my viewpoints and opinions on the game. I would skip to this timestamp if you want to avoid spoilers to the game, but if you do or if you've already played it, then let's just follow along. And you know what? Fuck it. Let's call this story time with Aaron. Yeah, anyways, get into it. A long time ago, Ida was the princess of the Crow people. She decided to steal the sacred geometry from around the world, but without it, all the people died. Ida was cursed and turned into a human, and the colorful crows were cursed to be bleak, colorless, and bothersome to Ida. Ida decided to return the geometry and embarks on a quest for forgiveness. In each level, she returns another piece of the geometry. She also meets a mysterious storyteller, believed to be one of the dead people returned as a ghost to give Ida insight and forgive her once she has returned everything. At the end of the game, Ida has returned all the geometry and is turned back into her crow self. The crow people again become her colorful subjects. And God, that was a lot. But anyway, the main characters to focus on in this game are Ida, Totem, the storyteller, and crows. There are also 10 main chapters: Monument Valley, the Garden, Hidden Temple, Water Palace, the Spire, the Labyrinth, the Rookery, the Box, the Descent, and Observatory. There are also 8 more added in 2014 with the Forgotten Shores update with an in-app purchase. Those chapters are as follows: The Chasm, the Serpent Lake, the Thief, the Hailcon Court, the Lost Falls, the Citadel of Deceit, the Oubliette, and Nocturne. I played this game like 2 years after it came out, so I was like 7 at the time. When I was younger, I never knew that the meaning behind this game was. I just thought it was very pretty and has some nice visuals. I like how the chapters add to the overall story, and the deeper hidden meanings in the game are also what make the game so precious and nostalgic to me. It makes sense why it seemed to have won like 10, maybe more awards between 2014, 2015. Overall, this game is a cinematic masterpiece, reminding me a lot of indie movies or animations I used to watch. With the simple style but impactful storytelling and gameplay, it was honestly one of, if not the best mobile game I've ever played. And it's a lot different than how mobile games are portrayed today, if you know what I mean. Monument Valley 2 was released June 5th, 2017, and is the same premise as the first game, but with new chapters, new layouts, and different mechanics to find your way through each chapter. Let's get to the main plot. Ro and her daughter are traveling together, creating monuments. Rose seems to be teaching her daughter how to do so too. Though Rose worrying about her, as the ghost implies, she must send her daughter away so she can be independent and grow up. This sparks memories in Ro too, who uses the powers of her friend Dordum to enter her own memories, remembering that her mother sent her away too. By the end of the game, Ro and her daughter are reunited, the former realizing that the latter has grown up. There are 14 chapters in this game. Those include Monument Valley 2, the Vestibule, the Oasis, the Viaduct, Archipelago, the docks, the towers, Aphelion, Menental, the botanical gardens, the Lyceum, the Orchid, the Sunken City, and Mirador. The characters to focus on in this one is Ro, Ro's daughter, Ghost, Dordom, and Ro's mother. What I like about this one is that it's about a mother and her child and the difficult journeys they face ahead. I also feel like it can be really meaningful to parents out there who are afraid to let their kids grow up and, go explore the world on their own. And the detail of the ghost trying to tell Ro that she would eventually have to let her daughter go and let her mature and be on her own is kind of heartbreaking and heartwarming at the same time. It doesn't feel as tragic as Monument Valley and Ida's story felt, so I'm going to be honest, but it's not a bad thing, obviously. It adds a dynamic to the overall game and it slightly separates itself from the previous game. The design throughout this game is also just as good as it was in the original Monument Valley, and the amazing optical illusions throughout the puzzles is also something I compliment heavily. Even though I always struggle getting through some of the puzzles, I still complimented the game. I mean, completed the game and played it around a month after it was initially released. I had a lot of fun with it and I loved it a lot. Monument Valley 3 is the most recent release in the series, releasing December 10th, 2024. Now, I haven't totally completed this game yet and I am still currently playing it, so I'm spoiling the game for myself. I'm probably going to forget the plot in like a day anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. Let's just get to the story. Now, I will say, as far as the fandom wiki goes, this game is going to have a part 2 at some point this year, so just know that this may not be the full story of the game, and this is a long one, so bear with me. The plot of the game revolves around Noor traveling to collect light and a staff to nourish the lighthouse, with a boat called Bodum to travel on, in the same way sacred geometry was created and returned in the first two games. At first, Noor and her mentor do so together. In Chapter 5, The Temple, however, the light does not behave as expected, splintering and turning red instead of returning to the staff. The temple begins to fall apart, and Noor's mentor is left behind, urging Noor to continue on because one must be left behind. Noor is now tasked with keeping the lighthouse burning bright by herself, receiving the mentor's staff as her own. More light fails to enter Noor's staff, and by extension, the lighthouse. A series of mishaps causes it to crumble, and a character Noor picks up on her boat reveals that her family has been lost at sea due to the incident. Noor recovers them, and on the way back to the lighthouse, the three of them are swallowed by a giant fish and have to escape. The Nomad, a mysterious traveler who has previously arrived at the lighthouse to give the characters a flower, is now lost too. When their flowers bloom at the hub and start glowing, Noor finds the Nomad to discover that the flower is a new source of light. Through it, she restores some light to the lighthouse and is able to collect more throughout the final few levels. At the end of the first storyline, the lighthouse and all the town's citizens are restored. Man, that was a lot. But anyway, the characters focus on now are Noor, the Nomad, Noor's mentor, Bodum, these two characters since they appear for a chapter or two, I think, and the town's citizens. The chapters, we have so far as follows. Monument Valley 3, the town, the hidden fens, I'm not going to say this right, or get to Alblier or whatever, the temple, Vyaku, the Torrential Parting, the Inverted Palace, the Meadow, and Sub Rosa. This game, while it's not fully completed, has to be my favorite out of the three. I just feel like they did so much more design wise and story wise. It's just so unique and brings the charm that the first game had in a whole different way. I forgot what level it was, but it was when they were going through the holes in the wall or something. I don't fucking know. It's just a really cool level in my opinion. I know it feels like I've been talking and ranting for like hours at this point, but now I want to give a more in-depth review and opinions on these three games separately. So let's start off with Monument Valley, the first game. Like I mentioned before, Monument Valley was the first really good mobile game I've played when I was probably around 7. It was 2014. I feel like that's when some brain rot games started to be published on app stores. But I digress. Monument Valley was ahead of its time, to be honest. For a game made in 2014, it's actually really good and deserved all the admiration and praise it got on its initial release. The levels are immersive, really immersive, actually, to the point where I've gotten stuck on some levels for like 30 minutes, and in no way is that an insult or anything. It just shows how good the game is. My favorite level, I will say, is when Ida was traveling on a cube, and whenever you turned the cube, it revealed different layouts. I'll probably put the name on the screen. But that was my favorite one because of the design and how it can navigate through. And it's just overall amazing. I became obsessed with this game in 2014 and started drawing Princess Ida on like every single surface I could. I wish I still had those drawings, but I have a bad habit of throwing away old sketchbooks and stuff. I can tell Uto Games put a lot of love into Monument Valley, and it really took some hard work and dedication to program, design, and create. Overall, I would probably give the game like a 9 out of 10. It's actually really good. Monument Valley 2, I will say, was a little more immersive for me. I got caught up in the story of a mother trying to keep her daughter from growing up, or just being afraid of letting her grow up. It felt slightly more realistic, like something that parents would actually go through. And for a recent example, like my mom, when I turned 16 in March, I could tell she didn't want me to grow up, but she knew eventually the time would come that I would graduate high school and figure out my life from there. Like, I just feel like the story can relate to scenarios similar to that. Some of my favorite levels are the ones that show up a little later in the game. Obviously I can't remember them from the top of my head because I'm really forgetful, but it's actually a really good game, and it was my favorite at the time, mainly because the character designs are really good too. I actually really like them. And as soon as that game came out, I grew obsessed with them too. And once again, I don't have any drawings of them, but that doesn't mean I didn't love the game when I first played it. I was already a huge fan of the Monument Valley series and didn't even know there was going to be a second one. Really good story, really good design. It was, I don't know, like, it was a really, it definitely told the story well and can definitely be relatable to some people, or at least some adults out there who have kids. They can go through stuff like that, and obviously this is a game for everyone to enjoy. Like, I don't see just kids playing this. I see like adults, teenagers, whatever age you are, or whatever age you were when you were playing this game, because it's that good and the story is like that deep to the point where anybody can play it and like not get bored at all. Overall, I would give this also a 9 out of 10 because it's really good. It's really good. A little better than Monument Valley 3, but in my opinion doesn't take off of how I feel about Monument Valley 3, which we're going to get into right now. Monument Valley 3 was my favorite out of the 3 games in the series, as I've stated before. Really good game, more characters get attached to, and I fucking love the design of the Nomad. It feels so majestic and it's so pretty. It reminds me of when I watched Song of the Sea a while back. Another really good movie that I might bring up in another video. Uto Games definitely outdid themselves with this installment in the Monument Valley series. I love it. It was a game I could really get immersed in without getting bored for a single second. I already said what my favorite level was, but I do have another. The very last level is also a personal favorite of mine. This one is because it was more difficult for me, at least, to get through this level, and actually took me a good while to get through. Like, I swear I was stuck on one part for 20 minutes straight without noticing the time going by. It was really creative and better than some of the things I've seen in the previous 2 games. Obviously, that doesn't mean I'm saying like the other 2 games are bad or anything, because they're not. Obviously, they're both really good. I'm just saying that Monument Valley 3 is just my favorite, like one of my favorites, and because I feel like Uto Games definitely showed off a lot of their skills in this one, and it really paid off in the end product. I know I said before the game's technically not finished yet, and I know it will be soon, probably somewhere this year. I'll definitely will play it, and I don't know, maybe make a follow-up video. I don't know. I might not. I'll figure it out. But even when the game's not fully completed, it was still really good. And I'm actually really excited to, see where the story goes. I'm really interested at this point because it got me immersed in this story and stuff. I'm getting really interested. I'm excited for when the full game comes out. I'll definitely continue playing it after that, and I might talk about it. Oh, yeah. And the story obviously is really good. It confused me at first, but I think as the time went on, I kind of got the story. So it is really good. And if you haven't played the game yet, you definitely should at least try to check it out, even if puzzle games aren't your thing, because trust me, they weren't mine either. This is actually an example of a puzzle game that I feel like a lot of people could enjoy. So if you haven't played it already, go play it. It's, I think, a Netflix game right now, so if you have a Netflix subscription, I guess you can play Monument Valley 3. To end things off, Monument Valley is a series that is unlike any other. I appreciate its uniqueness and how they sort of set the standard for what proper mobile games should be, instead of the slop we have nowadays. If you've never played Monument Valley, whether it be 1, 2, or 3, check it out. Please check it out and support the developers. They put a lot of passion into the games. You could definitely tell at first glance that they know what they're doing, when it comes to creating and designing new games. But that's it for now. I'm planning on making a part 2 to my Invalid flag ranking series. So if you have any invalid flags for me to look at and rank, obviously purely based on their design, don't be afraid to comment them down below. I'll be glad to include them in the next part. But bye bye for now, my fellow viewers. I'll see you next time.